gentlemen, we're going to have our first Socratic. I know you've done Socratics in the past. Those of you new to our school, you'll be observing today, and you need to, right now, those of you in the outer circle, you need to sit behind someone because you are going to be their coach. And I'm going to give you a coaching sheet today. So right now, I need to see who you're coaching. So you need to move your chair so you're behind someone. Outer circle, do that now. So you're behind. Angelica?
I can integrate and evaluate multiple texts to address a question or solve a problem.
Okay, so our reading goal. Thank you. What is our speaking goal today?
I can integrate multiple texts to make informed decisions and solve problems.
Right? Your opinion has more validity when you back it up with evidence that we've been reading about. And finally, our listening goal.
I have two.
Huh? And yeah, please, thank you. And
I can evaluate the credibility and accuracy of each source, noting any discrepancies among the data.
Thank you. And we know how good conversation works. If you disagree with someone, you use transitions. I see what you're saying, but I respectfully disagree, or I really agree with what you're saying, right? Use transitions. We know how polite conversation works. All right, so right now then, Alyssa's going to be keeping track of our big ideas on the board. Inner circle. Inner circle. You are going to set 2 goals for yourself. So inner circle, if you can take, there's going to be extra. I need the extra back. Coaching. You're going to write down the names. Take 2 if you are coaching 2. So you need a pen and something to write on. If you need to get up to get that, you can. And it's right there. So those are coming around. If you're coaching 2 people, take 2. So put it on pen. Oh, sorry, hold on. Okay, plug it in here. Now see it, Alyssa. Pick a color there. Oh, start well here. Yep, I can show you how to do that. So set your goals, please. So this like pulls it up. This pulls it down if you need to switch. So pick a color. All right, here we go. First question. Would you allow your child to play football?
Well, I would allow my child to play football, but it would be at a certain age, so I'd probably wait till he was like 10. I wouldn't let him play too young because like the brain's really fragile, still developing then. So then when he gets a little older, he'll have like more skills to avoid hits and stuff like that. And he won't be messed up.
Oh, you guys agree with that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then wouldn't you want your kids to be...
Louder, please. I'm sorry.
But wouldn't you want your kids... I wouldn't say like expose it to them, but if you wanted to avoid hits, wouldn't you want to show them at an earlier age when not actually have them participate in any of the actual teams?
Yeah, show them how to like, play and stuff, just teach them the fundamentals, but they don't have to actually like get into the full contact sport until like a certain age, like a well-developed age or something like that.
Okay, I agree. Like, I would let my kids play football, and I really wouldn't care like, about the age, to be honest. But I would always make sure like they're okay and not hurt.
I agree too. I would like let my student like play like when he's in high school. Like I know like his brain's like fully developed. Like I like teach him like how to throw and everything.
A quote from LeVar Arrington. He said that if you don't let your kid play at a younger age, that he's gonna be at a disadvantage in high school. So kids that have been playing since they were 8, 10 years old are probably gonna be a lot better than your kid that started playing when he's 15, 16 years old.
Off that quote, that's why I would allow my kid to play football like at a younger age because it doesn't like to me like I was raised like that. Like I started sports right when I could and everything, and right now I'm perfectly fine. So I would just let my kid do it too because my dad taught me the right way to do things, and I was always coached the right way.
you could avoid all those problems by not having them play football in the first place. And I guess, I don't know, like I'm not a parent, but I guess if I was, the last thing I would want to see is probably like to see the death of my kid before I'm dead. That'd be terrible. I wouldn't want to see them not be themselves anymore because they got hit in the head just trying to play sports personally.
I feel like those type of injuries though, like they're like avoidable, but you can't like stop them because that can happen with anything. Like, you could just be crossing the street, or like it's not just football. So I feel like to hinder your child from doing something that he really wants to do, he or she, just because of like some injuries that's associated with it, isn't that smart. Because just like going to school, you could slip and hurt yourself and like anything like that. So.
And like if you think about it, there's like probably over like 10,000 high school football students playing football every fall, and like this year like 9 died. But like statistically, that's like probably like 2%, not even 2, maybe 1%. But kids dying, so like not all things are safe. Like everything has its flaws, but
Yeah, to go off what Austin's saying, there's more kids dying in car crashes, other things that they could be dying from. I mean, yeah, football is a very dangerous sport, but it's not a leading killer for teenagers or kids.
Yeah,
It's still a dangerous
cut
sport.
down on how many kids play football, which then would cut down on like major sports teams like the NFL and everything, which then we probably see a decrease in players.
Stuff first.
I agree and disagree because I think like people should play because like people like to play it, but like we gotta like think about like the safety about it too, like how people are getting injured and like how like all these deaths are kind of happening. I know it's not like a lot, but it's still like happening, and I think we should like I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like, well, I agree with like half of that, like you said, because I feel like you shouldn't ban it completely if you haven't like tried all the things. Like if they haven't tried the taxes yet, they could try that, or maybe they could just even cut it down, even if it's just to like flag football or something. I don't think it should be banned completely. I think there's a bunch of options that they could explore first before they just get rid of it altogether.
I mean, it shouldn't be banned. It's like we should work on the safety of being harmless and everything.
Yeah.
I mean, one thing I don't understand is how it's like a big thing trying to ban like football and everything, but we have MMA, boxing, and all these other contact sports that basically your objective is to continually blow shots at someone's head. Like in the article for MMA brain injuries, it says that out of 108 matches, nearly 13% ended in knockouts, which you're physically knocking a human being out and like cutting blood flow to their brain. And then after another 179 matches, 21% ended in a technical knockout, and usually after the combatant was hit in the head 5 to 10 times in the last 10 seconds before the fight was stopped. So in football, you get hit once, it's pretty hard, but in MMA and boxing, you get hit 10, 20 times repeatedly in 10 seconds, straight to your brain. I don't understand
I feel
how
like
that's not regulated better.
I feel like there's this stigma with the football, because like when you think about boxing or MMA, like you know that's you're fighting, like that's a sport, and you think about it as more gory. And then when you think of football, you think, oh, they're just trying to catch the ball and like make it to the end zone. But really, it's like they're like almost the same thing. They're both like contact sports. Like your intent is to like stop the person with the ball by hitting them, like taking them out, and then. So football is more, it seems more just like a regular sport with the ball and everything, but it's just as dangerous. It just, their approach is different, so it doesn't seem as bad.
But with that, you also have like junior league boxing. So you got people on the fan like little like pee-wee football, but you have little kids boxing each other. And then there's also like jujitsu, martial arts, all these other things where kids get knocked out and they're like 10 years old in like events and everything. Which
Yeah. Okay. I have to go with Austin. Like, if we were gonna ban a sport, I'd go with boxing or a more contact sport than football. I mean, for little kids like in high school or middle school, have you seen the helmets they wear for boxing? It's literally like, if they even wear it, it's like a little bit of foam. And like football, it's like you got a hard shell, foam inside, face mask, and a chin strap. I mean, you're way more protected in football than you are in boxing or those type of sports.
I'm not saying like ban football and then keep the other sports. I'm just saying that, like, I'm just trying to show the comparison, like you can see why some people will want to ban football. Like I'm totally for like I would much rather have football than other sports too, just because like those are a lot easier to get like way more hurt because you are like punching someone or something like that. But they're very similar. They're just the games are very different, but the injuries and the hits are very similar.
And then like talking about all the other sports, I think as an overall like category of sports, we should all together try to like make every single one safer. And like in the article it said even like Muhammad Ali, he was a boxer and he suffers from Parkinson's disease, and it's believed that he has that because of too many blows to the head during his boxing career. So like, that's an example that shows like people do get hurt in all of the sports.
Yeah. Or like that girls soccer, when you read that one article and it said girls soccer is right up there with football. So that's like, you guys compared like MMA and stuff to football. What about that? That's like, you don't think of that as like a contact sport at all, especially girls soccer. So it's like the same thing. So I don't think it's like thinking about the sport. It's more about thinking about what goes into the sport. Like football, I'm running at you as fast as I can and like hitting you wherever I can.
Well, I don't understand why like football is getting targeted so much, because like it's like one of like the several rough sports like that are common today. Like in football, like obviously it's very rough and like obviously a lot of injuries come from it. But like you guys were saying, you know, you have like MMA, boxing, and I know like I used to play hockey, and you have pretty much full gear from head to toe, and a tear or a broken bone or even a concussion it's just as easy, you know what I mean? Like I think the main reason why football is targeted so much is because it's so big, you know what I mean? Like I'm pretty sure soccer is like the #1 watched sport today, but like football is just like, I think football is just targeted so much because it's so popular, and like
Do they need to use more transition? Do they need to use more evidence?
I got everything like
Before we get started on the second half, I'm going to turn to our people doing the extra kind of thing. So Sarah, can you tell the class what you're doing and just what you noticed and your suggestion that you said? So sorry, Isis, wait please.
So this is like a tally of how many times people talk. So you can see that Omar talked the most, pretty much. And we have like a lot of people that haven't said anything yet. So I think you guys need to put in your opinion. And like for the people that have talked and put in their opinion, like maybe you can like suggest to other people or like ask them their opinion to like help them along. Like maybe they're shy or they don't like know what to say. Maybe you can just ask them what they think, and that would be probably helpful for them.
Okay.
To play off of Sarah, I talked to a couple people that had not gone yet. They felt that it was moving kind of quickly and that they weren't able to say anything because somebody else took their spot. So what I'll say is if someone's talking and you think, oh man, I really want to follow up on this person, maybe just raise your pen raise your hand or your finger so that everybody kind of knows, you know, it's nonverbal if you're not interrupting anybody, but then they know that you kind of want to play on what that person just said. So then we can make some turns for some people that maybe have not talked yet.
Thank you. Melissa, do you want to say what you're doing up here?
I'm writing my ideas and of like what y'all are saying. And for the first question, you guys said that you'd let your kids play when he's older. It's your kid's choice. And then for question 2, you guys said that MMA is like strictly knockout, and that here is different, but the hits are the same. So you just compared them both. So. And that the government should help to protect their players.
Thank you. Savannah, can you hold that up and just kind of say what you're doing?
I'm just keeping count on the guys who are
I know Angelica, like most of the time when she speaks, she'll say like I agree or I disagree and stuff like that. And like basically like after one person like stops talking, the next person starts talking. Like you just tell everyone like whether you agree or not, like before you say what you have to say.
Yeah, so maybe use the use of more transitions. Some people were doing well with that, and maybe continue to think about the transitions. And then finally we have Anaya, who's got a couple different jobs today. What are you doing, Anaya?
I have the quotes. Only like 4 people said quotes, like Keith, Angelica, Omar, and Austin. I would suggest that more people use quotes to back up your opinions.
Well said. So we did notice some people. I'm going to include Ryan in that because he used a personal example as far as his hockey play. But I like how some of you are referring back to your text. Oh yeah, when we read about MMA, or oh yeah, when I played hockey, and Keith started us off by saying, well, in the article. So look at your highlights, and when you can, use that evidence to back up your opinion. Angelica did a nice job with that as well. So use your text to back up your opinion. Well said. All right, we're going to start the second half. We know football is a $9 billion industry, the MMA, UFC, you talked about money before the half. Do you, as brain research develops, do you think society as a whole will push for other sports to take precedent, like tennis, golf, baseball, low brain injury risks? So again, considering the money involved in sports, football, MMA, UFC, do you think as brain research develops, like Austin quoted the article, will football go the way of tobacco? Do you see a time when the MMA will go bye-bye because of brain research, football will go bye-bye, and you'll see a rise in other sports? Yes or no, and why?
Well, I think that the only way that other sports that aren't really that common will get common is if the current ones go away. Like I don't think, because like everybody knows the risks of these sports, you know what I mean? Like, and obviously like if people know that all these things happen, clearly nothing's changed because football or the NFL has so much money and people still watch football all the time. Like, you know what I mean? So like I feel like the only way that other sports like tennis and everything else that are low contact or no contact are only gonna rise if the other sports go away.
Yeah, I feel like the sports are like never gonna disappear because like our generation, like we watch football with our parents. So like when we're older, we'll be watching football games with our children and like so on and so forth. Like the generations just keep going. Like that's just like a trend, I guess. Like
if you think about it, like for baseball, it's been around over 100 years because the last time the Cubs won a World Series was 100 years ago. And baseball started like way before that, and football, I think, probably started before even when baseball started. So if you think about it, all these sports have been around so long that I don't think any one particular sport's gonna go away, but maybe the views might switch, as in like what gets watched more. But I don't believe that any one sport will go away at all.
I agree. I think like.
Well, I think that if football or boxing don't go away at all, I would think that the less head injury sports like tennis and golf will probably not get as much ratings as they do right now, because football and boxing are so very interesting to watch that a lot of people going to the events attending to watch athletes go up against each other and just let them have at it. And people watching it at home for much more audience out all over around television wise. So maybe that if football and boxing did go away, I think that the other sports like tennis and golf would get more a lot more people interested in watching people getting hurt and somehow get themselves traumatized with more possible head injuries.